Are you by any chance wondering what's for dinner today? You are, you dummy. No, you didn't mishear me. I'll tell you what's what. The thing is, you aren't inside just some random YouTube video right now. Rather, you're inside an actual oven. Guess what else is inside the oven alongside you? What else could it be but the 14 core ingredients and elements necessary to help cook you into a real-life Ayanokoji? That said, make sure you stick around till the bitter end, because if you lack even this much self-discipline, buddy, I bet even the gods of Mount Olympus wouldn't be able to help with your white room training. On the flip side, listen to and chug down my every last word in this video, and I promise you'll soon witness your present, uncooked version slowly but surely transform into Ayanokoji, the perfect human from the anime classroom of the elite. Without further ado, let's get cooking. The only truth is power. Everything else is just details. First and most important ingredient, winning mindset. Tell me, what happens when you win? It's simple. You get more powerful, more comfortable with your surroundings, and more confident in your relationships. Survival becomes easier, living becomes a breeze, and perhaps one day you'll even be able to afford a vacation to the narrow seas. But don't just listen to me. Hear the Go himself say it near the end of Season 2 of Classroom of the Elite Anime. It doesn't matter what needs to be sacrificed. In this world, winning is everything. As long as I win in the end, that's all that matters. Remember how near the finale of Season 3, the new chairman aggressively kicked Sakayanagi's cane and pinned Ayanokoji against the wall. Despite being an elite fighter, Ayanokoji didn't fight back. Why? Because he quickly assessed his current situation, realizing there was a camera in the corner. Fighting back and openly beating the school official would have only gotten him expelled, which is exactly the kind of reaction his enemies were hoping for. The point is, to become Ayanokoji, the second most crucial element you require mastering is inner reflection, as well as critical outside analysis and thinking. This means you need to stay mindful of your inner thoughts, your current mood, finances, skill level, and also outside circumstances, such as the mood and behavior of those around you. For inner reflection, keeping a journal is excellent. As for outside analysis, you'll need to just shut up, listen, and critically observe others and your surroundings more. Strategize before everything else has begun until the point where everything else is already over. If there's any department in which Kiyotaka particularly shines, it's in strategizing 2 steps ahead of his opponents always. This is evident not just in the way he skillfully manipulates his fellow classmates, but also in how he's been able to avert every obstacle thrown his way in the last 3 seasons. It's not that I'm so smart, it's just that I stay with problems longer. Let's pause and recall for a second. What was the actual intent behind the White Room? To create geniuses, of course. And what else is a genius, if not somebody who's laser focused on his work and craft, instead of becoming utterly distracted from it time and again? To that end, here's what you must do to optimize your environment and turn it into a distraction-free zone. Keep your study or workplace extremely bright like the White Room, as it helps improve alertness. Boycott nightlight filters on your devices during work hours, as they block out blue light, which, out of all visible light spectrums, is known to have the most powerful effect on boosting mental alertness. Enable grayscale mode through your device settings so that everything's black and white and therefore super dull. Trust me, a phone without colors is a phone without distractions. Declutter your desk and always keep it clean, because unnecessary items are known to distract your focus. Remember how earlier in Season 3, a girl commented on how Kiyotaka's room is extremely plain? That's the kind of distraction-free zone you should be aiming to create for yourself. One step in a less than ideal direction is still a step ahead of no steps at all. Thinking alone gets you nowhere. Even Kiyotaka's most perfect strategies wouldn't have come to fruition if he lacked the willpower necessary to act upon them. As Nietzsche once said, "To live is to suffer. To survive is to find meaning in that suffering." Since suffering is guaranteed whether you move or stay still, why not suffer while moving then? He who's unable to track and judge how well or worse he's been doing forever earns nothing but booing. When you track your past progress, you're able to realize in which areas you've been performing exceptionally lately and where you're lacking in effort. Without realizing these two things, you'll keep repeating the same useless strategies and techniques over and over again without seeing any results. As Einstein once said, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. I use the Habit Bowl app to that end, and as you can see, I really need to put more focus on book reading these days. After all, the percentages never lie. Whoever keeps on learning keeps on earning. Whoever doesn't learn forever continues to yearn. Koji's known to have learned and absorbed the critical information from over 100 million books by age 15. That's way more than most of us will ever read in a lifetime. The point is, if you aren't dedicated to madly learning new knowledge and skills daily, especially in today's era of free digital content everywhere, you're miles away from reaching Koji's level. Note-keeping not only helps improve your memory, but also allows you to quickly refresh your past learnings when you're on the edge of forgetting them. No need to waste time reading entire books every single time, right? For instance, I use Google Docs for my note-keeping. I just recently picked up Statistics 101, and as you can see, I've been taking notes diligently. To never exercise is to embrace an early demise. Not being afraid alone is useless unless you've got the necessary skills required to back up your courage like Koji does. This is where hitting the gym and learning other useful martial arts such as boxing, kickboxing, or whatever comes in handy. Breakfast, as we know it, didn't exist for large parts of history. The Romans didn't really eat it, usually consuming only one meal a day around noon. Thing is, excessive eating is scientifically proven to make one sleepy and induce laziness. To remain active throughout most of your day, it's best to dial down to about 2 meals a day, one around noon and the other 3 hours before bed, as the Romans did and as Koji typically does. I can tell you that a caffeinated life is a better life. Coffee is the elixir of productivity. Needless to say, you should be coffee maxing 24/7, except for 3 hours before bed to avoid interrupting your sleep patterns, of course. Spiritual training is just as valuable as mental or physical training. Remember how, in the very first episode of Season 3, Koji's fellow schoolmate gets whipped real good because of his incorrect meditation posture. Needless to say, you too should be paying attention and dedicating similar efforts to meditation and spiritual growth as Ayanokoji and his school do. There are abundant meditation guides and practices out there on YouTube. Find one and marry it. Inaction saps the vigor of the mind. Frankly, I find it cringeworthy every time I witness somebody pull out a calculator just to dial 7 times 14. Seriously, just how mentally lazy can you be? In his rivalry match against Class A, Koji effortlessly answers the most difficult mental arithmetic question on the table. The answer, after adding all those digits, was a staggering 7,619. Can you imagine? It goes without saying you must rely less on artificial calculators and more on the natural calculator that God has bestowed upon you. Otherwise, there's no hope for you to reach anywhere near Koji's potential in this lifetime. Finally, emotions. Needless to say, if nobody on earth knows how to perfectly manage their emotions, consider Koji as dead then. But why is he so accomplished at this stuff, always perfectly hiding his true emotions behind an emotionless poker mask? The answer is Stoicism. This ancient philosophy allows one to detach himself from his surroundings as well as his own emotions and just observe and think critically about everything that concerns him. The book Meditations by the late Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius is an especially good read in that regard. That's it for today. Make sure to like and subscribe for similarly spicy self-growth and white room training content in the future.